Welcome back to episode 9 of Hockey Actually, everyone. I'm Izzy. This is Nicolleta. And today we've got a couple of season starts to preview. I'll pass it over to Nicolleta to get you started on Abbotsford.
Yeah, so I thought because we didn't cover it last time, we would go over some of the Canucks, the Abbotsford Canucks community and fan engagement nights because they have some fun ones listed. And I'm super excited for not only you guys, but like me as well to be at those events because they have your stereotypical, they have the Next Gen Sunday, which is coming up on October 26th, the banner raising night. We know it's October 24th. They have um, a really fun one, which is a trick or treat night on
Ooh.
October 29th.
Oh,
I don't know what that will entail, but that sounds like the spirit of Halloween is coming to Abbotsford.
sounds like a lot of candy could be involved
Yeah,
potentially.
exactly. Instead of the teddy bear toss, candy toss.
Toss candy onto the ice.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the players are just throwing candy every couple of shifts.
It'll be fun for the Calgary Wranglers who are coming in for that. And then we've got Hockey Fights Cancer on November 2nd versus the Henderson Silver Knights. Then the Armed Forces Knights on November 11th. The classic Teddy Bear Toss December 6th, which everyone knows and loves.
Of course.
Always super
Classic.
fun. Yeah, I think they broke the record last year for how many teddy bears were donated.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, so maybe this year, fingers crossed, we get it
Potentially.
again. Yeah.
Bring your teddy bears, people.
Yeah, and then a super exciting game, which is the fifth anniversary of the AHL Abbotsford Canucks on December 7th versus the Coachella Valley Firebirds. That'll be a super fun game to go to. I'm not gonna lie. That'll be like they'll probably bring out like the old stuff or
Some
whatever.
alumni.
Yeah, exactly. Some cool alumni. That would be super fun.
That's crazy to think that it's been 5 years
I know,
since,
right?
like, I feel like it was just yesterday that they were like, oh, we're thinking of bringing Abbotsford like back as our AHL affiliate. That's
Yeah,
five
and
years, huh?
5 years and not long ago, they won the Calder Cup.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's they've had a good run so far. Maybe the
Yeah.
fifth year, it'll make it a big booming one.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Who knows? Could see some
Yeah.
alumni at that game, maybe a special little
Oh,
ceremony.
next,
I don't
yeah,
know.
we'll see. Um, then we've got Ugly Christmas Sweater Night, which I
Oh,
think is
fun.
so fun
That's
on
so
December
fun.
20th versus the Tucson Roadrunners.
Fun.
And your classic hockey talks on January 7th, which is super important. And I'm glad that they're doing it. Um, this one's really fun. Flaunt your flannel night on January
Oh,
10th. So I guess if you guys are going, you got to wear a flannel.
gotta wear flannel. Can't
Yeah.
miss
Yeah. You got to make sure it has blue or green in it, though. That's the only standard.
that. No red flannel.
No red flannel. Well, you can have red, but then if you were like a red and green flannel, that's more like Christmas. So
Yeah,
yeah,
true.
pick your poison.
Save it for ugly Christmas sweater, but then it's not a Christmas sweater, so.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And then last but not least, my personal favorite night, because I have no idea what it entails. It's called Mystery Night on January 11th versus the Calgary Wranglers.
Exciting.
Now, I don't know if that means that the whole night is just a mystery and things are going to be super chaotic, or if it's like a clue type of guess who thing going on. I don't know what it is. I'm anxiously awaiting
That would be
January 11th.
that would be so fun though. Like imagine like a clue or like mystery game kind of theme tonight. How
That
would
would
that
be
even
so
work?
fun. I don't know. I mean, it's not my job, so.
They put a random player in net with all the goalie pads and stuff, and people have to guess who it is.
Oh my God, that would be
That'd
so
be funny.
funny. Oh my God, Mystery Night, they just put random players in different positions that they don't normally play.
That
That
would
would
be
be
funny. I
hilarious.
don't think they would want to do that for a
No,
goalie
I don't think
record,
they would
but
either.
it would be really funny.
Yes, maybe as like an exhibition game, they can consider doing that.
Let's see. Let's see Mancini in goal.
Yeah, well, funny enough, talking about Mancini. We did have him just come back up from the AHL. He went down and then up almost
Literally like a
immediately.
day.
Yeah, literally in a day. So lots of movement there. But before we get into that, we had a signing just yesterday. Nick Poisson,
Poisson,
Poisson
poisson.
for a 1 year contract ahead of the 2025-26 AHL season, which is super exciting.
Woo woo.
Poisson is a 24-year-old who has spent the past 5 seasons playing collegiate hockey for Providence College, where he served as co-captain during his final campaign last year. He's also a Vancouver native, which is super exciting. And he skated in 170 NCAA games for the Friars, which ranks him second all time in that school's history.
Wow,
Yeah.
pretty
He
big
recorded,
stat.
yeah, pretty big stat. And he recorded 109 points and 94 penalty minutes. So
Hey,
he's not afraid.
he's bringing what he can to the ice, and it's good to
Yeah.
see.
We got rid of Sammy Blaze. We're bringing in Poisson.
Yeah. Blake got claimed by Toronto. That's
I,
such a
yeah.
poor guy. He goes home to his home province,
And they're like,
Quebec,
we don't want
plays
you.
for the Canadians, and then all of a sudden he's in Toronto. But anyways,
That was sad. I felt bad for him. But anyways, yeah, he's so Poisson is about 5'11, but 190 pounds. So he makes his mark. Um, and he will actually be starting with the ECHL
okay,
affiliate, the Kalamazoo Wings.
okay.
So he's not going to be starting with Abbotsford just yet. I guess they're going to throw him in, test the waters, see what he's capable of doing, and then kind of go from there. But what do you think of the signing?
I think it's interesting. I think it was probably necessary given that so many Abbotsford Canucks, former kind of slash current, I guess, are starting the season with Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
I think the number was like six because you've got like Ratu and then like Lekkerimäki, Bains, all these guys. Um, so I do think they needed to kind of maybe bring more people in it forward just to have that depth in the event that maybe some more get called up or like if there's a whole lot of movement throughout the season. So I like the signing. He had a pretty good showing at the prospect showcase. He was part of that invitees line and then decent stint at training camp, right? So I like it and good for a local boy getting to sign a
Yeah.
contract with his hometown team.
Oh, that's super exciting for him. We're super happy to have you, Poisson.
Poisson.
Poisson. But yeah, maybe going back now to the POJ to injured reserve, which is what brought Mancini up.
Yep.
Yikes. That was pretty tragic.
It's interesting just because the season has not even started yet and the team is already dealing with injury.
Like
The
across the board.
mhm. The fact that they are able to bring up a player with the caliber of Mancini says good things about the depth, but
Mhm.
the fact that they have to do it this early on is a little worrisome.
I completely agree. I think that I don't know if it's they push themselves too hard or they just went in too early. I don't know, but I don't really like it. I mean, I'm glad that Mancini's getting called up and he's gonna show what he can because I quite like Mancini as a player and I think he's capable of a lot. So I'm glad that he's starting with the Canucks now. But I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you on the fact that having to do it so early is a bit concerning.
Well, I at a practice like about a week or two ago, there was okay, so POJ was out by this time. Forbert was not taking the ice for practice. I believe he is expected to play on Thursday unless something changes within the next day or so. Um, but even Foot had mentioned kind of like for the reason they were not dressing Forbert during practice was that, they had thought maybe they started a little too early and just to get players some rest even beforehand, which it's good to start early, but the fact that we're already seeing players sitting out right now when the season hasn't even started is a little concerning. I mean, Bluger is also not playing now. Okay, so it's POJ,
Ugh,
Hoglander, of course.
Hoagie. Ugh.
Forbert was not in practice, although let me check right now because practice is actually going on right now. Let's see if anyone's back.
Yeah.
And then Bluger too. It's kind of
That's three of your technical core right now.
yeah, and you already know Hoglander's out
For
semi
8 to 10 weeks.
yeah.
8 to 10 weeks. Oh my God. I'm like, guys, what are we doing here? That's
Um,
tragic.
okay, so Forbert is back.
Okay, that's good. That's a good sign.
Um, yeah, Forbert's the only one who's back.
Well,
POJ still out, which we knew. Bluger is not skating yet, and then Hoglander.
well, hopefully this is a big season for those AHL boys that are coming up.
That is very true.
Yeah, time to prove yourselves,
That is
guys.
true.
You know you're capable, so
And I think the fact that it literally took them a day to bring Mancini up is kind of like it shows that they believe they owe it to him to
yeah.
let him start with the team. It's just no, it's a numbers game, right? Like, because with him, they can call him up and send him down whenever they want and not have to deal with
Yeah.
waivers. Whereas if they were to send a guy like POJ down, then he has to clear waivers, come back up, and all that stuff. So it's a numbers game at the end of the day, but it's good that Mancini looks like he'll be getting the start with the team to start the season.
Yeah, no complaints on my part. Just would have loved to have seen POJ, start the season, but alas, it is what it is. Can't do anything about it. We move forward.
We move forward. We move forward, of
Yeah.
course. How is on that note, since we were talking on Mancini, how is Abbotsford's D-core looking now that they've made it through training camp? You were at training camp last week, got to talk to a couple of the players. Is
Yeah.
there anyone that stands out to you in terms of players that you think could have a pretty good season for Abby?
I spoke to both Chase Stillman and Kirill Kudryavtsev. My piece on Chase is already out, so you can go check that out if you guys like.
I
But
believe the Kudryavtsev piece is actually out now as well. It just came.
yeah, funny enough, he was actually the player that I was going to mention as standing out because during practice, he seemed to be very honed in on the skills, like talking to the coaches, seeing what he can improve on, and executing all the skills very well. And when I talked to him, he's he's quite a funny guy, actually. He's very blunt and he gets to the point and he's like, you know what, like I want to make the NHL and I'm going to do whatever I can to get there. And I think that mindset is so difficult to achieve so early on in a career like his. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he's able to do in terms of the depth core. But I liked most of the players that were doing the practice at the AHL level. Like they were moving the puck well. Like some guys, were chit chatting. They were having their fun. But you always have to have a little bit of fun during a 2 hour practice.
Oh
So I
yeah, of
blame
course.
them. But I'm curious to see what happens at their first game. It'll be fun.
It'll
I
be
think it'll be
exciting.
I think it'll be a good team to keep track of going forward.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I
But
think
that's all, yeah.
mm, back on Kudryavtsev, I think even the fact that he's already like he made his NHL debut last season, he like seventh round pick. Honestly, the probability of most seventh round picks actually doing well is pretty slim. So the fact that he had such a good season last year and he really like has stood out in his time with the organization speaks wonders about like
His
the chance of
capability.
him making it,
Yeah.
right? And I think a lot of people are very high on him, especially heading into this season. So I guess we'll see how he manages with extended minutes with Abbotsford. And
Well, he seems determined. When I
and
chat with
that's exactly what
yeah,
you need, right?
exactly. That's all you want, right? What more can you ask from a player?
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's my pick.
Exciting, exciting times.
Um, shall we discuss the opening night roster
You
for the
know, at this point, I'm kind of hesitant to because it's like
what's gonna happen?
they announced an opening night roster, and then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, one of the guys is injured, so we're gonna bring someone else up. But
Yeah.
as of around 11 in the morning on Wednesday, October 8th, the opening night roster looks as so. We have Arshdeep Bains, Teddy Bluger, who is injured, Brock Besser, Philip Hedl, Braeden Cootes, Jake DeBrusk, Connor Garland, Evander Kane, Linus Carlson, Jonathan Lekkerimäki, Drew O'Connor, Elias Pettersson, the forward, Atu Ratu, and Kiefer Sherwood on the list of forwards. That's 14 forwards. They decided to go with 14 forwards, the extra forward instead of an extra defenseman. On defense, we have Derek Forbort, Philip Hronik, Quinn Hughes. POJ was on the opening night roster, but as he is now on retroactive IR, we don't know when he's coming back. But because he's on retroactive IR, he can come back whenever he's ready. Tyler Myers, Elias Pettersson, the defenseman, and Marcus Pettersson, and now Victor Mancini, who has been called up to take POJ's place. And then, of course, the goaltenders. Was there ever any doubt? Thatcher Demko, Kevin Lankinen. And that is your 2025-26 Vancouver Canucks opening night roster, unless things change from now.
I'm hopeful that it stays that way.
Same. I'm like,
Yeah, let's not get too hasty, folks.
oh, already had enough injuries, but
yeah, man, like we can't keep doing that.
exactly. There are a couple players I am very excited to see coming into this season, though. Like,
I'm super excited for Arshdeep Bains.
oh yeah,
I think that is such an opportunity for him.
and I think one thing that really sticks out is he during preseason and training camp, like he earned a lot of good opportunities. Like by the end of it, he was playing on a line with Hedl and Garland. Like that's pretty big. Like second line. And I think at one point, I might be wrong, but I think I saw it. At practice, he was actually on the PK,
Oh,
like playing in a penalty killing unit. I want to say with Ratu, which speaks a lot about the trust they have in him. I know he was taking some more of that defensive role in Abbotsford, so to see them trust him with that and try to bring that back up here, very good sign for him.
I like that they're playing to each individual's strength.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is something that maybe Talkett lacked in, and he just kind of tried to find anyone that he needed to fill in the spot.
Mm-hmm.
Versus, I'm seeing that Foot's taking the approach of like, okay, these are what the players are capable of. Let's take it to their advantage and put them in positions that will allow them to thrive.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, which I think is, in my opinion, no offense to Talkett, I think that is a much better approach.
And I think it suits this team a lot more. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, we haven't actually seen them in regular season action yet, but from what we've seen in the preseason, I do agree. Like they're a lot more of a rushed team. Like we've one player that's really stood out to me for who we've talked about in the past is Philip Hedl.
Yeah.
Kind of like going from having that really offensive outburst speedy game when he started here and then kind of toning that down and then coming back here and bringing that back up again is really something I think that we might see with other players throughout the season where they kind of feel like they have more freedom to chase things offensively and kind of make it into their own game, right?
Yeah. I think it's allowing the players to build a rapport with one another and trusting their abilities in their strengths, that's gonna show on ice.
Mm-hmm.
Like we saw it when they were playing against the Edmonton Oilers, like in the preseason. Like that was a crazy cool game to watch just because I mean you've got people like Draisaitl and Connor McDavid
Mm-hmm.
and you like Lekkerimäki's just like like this man was unbelievable. And to do that at technically, being an AHL player, and to be able to do that against the best of the best, arguably the best player in the world right now,
Mm-hmm.
it's impressive.
Do we want to talk about? I'm seeing that we have a tentative lines for tomorrow.
Oh, let's
That's coming
discuss.
up on Twitter via what some of our media fellows are seeing at practice. This is from Jeff Pettersson. He's saying we've got first line, Elias Pettersson, the forward, with DeBrusk and Besser. That wasn't really a surprise. We've seen that line throughout training camp.
Oh,
We have Chytil with Garland and Bains. So Bains'
okay,
position
again,
on the second line will stick, at
that's
least for
awesome.
opening night, it looks like. And then on the third line, interesting, we have Evander Kane, Braeden Cootes, and Jonathan Lekkerimäki. And we did see a lot from that Cootes-Lekkerimäki pairing, especially in that Oilers game. Cootes had that really nice assist on, I want to say it was the first goal that
Yeah.
Lekkerimäki scored.
They're very compatible players.
And
Like,
they're both
yeah,
so young too. Like,
I think that is like a JT Miller Brock Besser combo right there, where I think
ooh.
that they maybe hot take, but I think that they're going to be very capable together. Like they seem to trust one another and play like just smoothly. It
That's
doesn't
just,
seem rushed. It doesn't seem anxious. It
mhm.
seems good. And I don't know if Kane fits into that at all, but Kane is a pretty powerful player, so he's going to do his thing no matter what.
I am kind of curious to see if Coots does stick for the. I would assume that once Bluger is back, they will send Coots down. But if that pairing has a lot of success, I wonder if maybe he could make a case to stay.
That is a good point, actually.
Because according to this stat I found for Coots, he is one of 5 of the 2025 draftees who are still with their teams, which includes first overall pick Matthew Schaefer with the Islanders, second overall pick Michael Misa with the San Jose Sharks, Brady Martin with Nashville, and Ben Kindle with Pittsburgh. So that's pretty, and he's the youngest. I want to say he is the youngest pick of those. Kindle might be, or not youngest, lowest pick in the draft of those 5
Yeah.
players. So many people are saying like the expectation for Coots is like Bo Horvat, like right, and it's
People really like Coots.
oh
Like
yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of articles on the kid and just even on like Instagram comments. People have
Mm-hmm.
a lot of faith in this guy.
And
And
they're
I hope
excited,
that,
right?
yeah, they're very excited because they see someone who's capable and new to the organization. And I saw a quote somewhere, I think it was on Instagram, where the staff was talking about him and they were like, he's a super kind gentleman, like he doesn't make a fuss about the equipment. He always helps out, stuff like
Yeah.
that. I'm like, that shows a lot about your character.
Oh yeah.
And I think that wanting someone like that to succeed is such a good thing that I'm really happy he's in the starting roster.
Mhm. Okay, I have quotes from both Adam Foote and Patrick Alvin on Coots.
Mhm.
Who did you want to hear from first?
Let's hear from Patrick first, just because I feel like he's going to talk more about the character versus the actual skater.
Okay, he said, let me find it. Where'd it go? He's such a mature kid off and on the ice here. So I think he's level headed. I think he doesn't get too far ahead. And I believe that he's preparing himself just for the next day. In terms of how he fits in with the group, he's been impressive at this point.
Yeah, which makes sense.
And then Foot said something along the lines of he got a lot more into how he plays, and I think it's very insightful information, kind of the way he said it, like
Dude, I was spot on.
this was a long one. He's working to get in the right position. It's the hardest thing for young guys to do, is the work when the puck leaves their area, whether they made a pass or it goes low to high. For a defender, sometimes he looks where it went, the guy gets beat to the net. That's what we want all our players to be like. But he's been good at it, and that helps him with the physical part. He defends kind of like Ryan O'Reilly. That's pretty much the premise of what Foot said, pretty much saying, first off, comparing him to a former Stanley Cup playoff MVP, I believe, former Stanley Cup champion, former captain of the St. Louis Blues, all around one of the better two-way centers in recent histories in the NHL. So the fact that he's comparing him to someone like O'Reilly and saying that comment about how he gets into the positions where they want their players to be, even as an 18-year-old, that's impressive.
It's very impressive.
Yeah.
So good for him. We're looking forward to watching you, Coots.
Absolutely. On Thursday night, I believe.
Everybody write it in your calendar. That would be tomorrow night, today, by the time this comes out.
Yep.
Night.
Tonight.
Yep.
And I think you can't really go without talking about Coots without talking about his line mate, Lekkerimäki, who managed to force his way into a spot on the opening night roster, and now he's playing with him.
I'm super proud. I'm like a proud mother, but I'm not his mother. I really like Lekkerimäki. I think he's bound to succeed. I just think he's maybe gotten in his own head about it. But from what I've seen in this preseason and training camp, he seems to be locked and ready to go. So I'm hoping for the best.
And he's still only 21. Like, there's no rush at all if he doesn't like make the roster full time this year. Like, of course, we've seen some exceptions like Hughes and Pettersson, Besser, who stick after they make their debuts as young players. But like, you're only 21. You've got so much more room to grow in the league and so much time. And keep in mind, last year was his first season on North American ice. Other than that, he'd only played in Sweden, except for a couple like World Juniors, of course. So, of course, last season he would have needed the time to adjust. But now that he's found that, we're seeing that he has adjusted and is taking those steps to kind of find more success at the NHL and AHL level. And I mean, 2 goals in the last preseason game. We're already seeing it.
We're not complaining.
Absolutely not. Yeah. It will be interesting to see, though, how the Höglander injury, like when Höglander comes back, where Lekkerimäki will slot in. But I think that's a conversation for another time.
That depends on line mate chemistry, how they're able to, each of the AHL guys that are currently on the roster, how they're able to perform, what they're capable of showing, that kind of thing.
One more player I was going to mention before we move on to the next topic is the fact that Quinn Hughes is 1 point away from breaking the all-time record in points scored by a Canucks defenseman, which I don't want to jinx him, but is most likely to happen tonight. He is currently tied with Alex Edler at 409 career points. Edler set the record in 925 games. Hughes has around 500 less games than that he has already played. So look out for that tonight. If it doesn't happen tonight, it will happen. Like it's going to happen. It's 1 point.
And if it doesn't, then there's something seriously wrong with the world.
That's true.
Yep.
But this is not the first milestone he has had in a little bit. Just to recap some of the ones he had last year, he hit 400 career points on March 22nd against the Rangers, 311th NHL assist, which is most by Canucks defensemen in their career, on December 1st against Detroit, and he became the third fastest defenseman in the NHL to hit 300 career assists, which he did so in 376 games. So guy has a very long record sheet, of course. We already know that. But he could add another one to that tonight. And he probably will. Let's be honest.
It's Quinn Hughes.
Quinn Hughes, of course he will. One other player I think we should maybe talk about before the season starts up is Elias Pettersson, the forward, not the defenseman. I have to specify all the time now. But
yeah. I think we just go with DPD and Elias.
Yeah. DPD and PD.
Yep.
But yeah.
What are your thoughts on Elias Pettersson?
A lot of people see him as having a bounce back year, a big bounce back year. And I do agree with that. I think now coming into the season, he is the first line center. There's no debate, there's no question about that. And I think he takes that role very seriously, as well as now being one of those leaders in the locker room alongside some of those more core players like Besser, Hughes, Demko. And I think the way he approached training in the offseason really impressed management and the coaching staff. I mean, Foote has been very vocal about how impressed he was with some of the things he did. Alvin too, Rutherford has said things. So I think this year we've seen that he is making the changes. Will they kind of convert to the NHL level? I think he's not going to have another like 45-point season.
I don't think he can afford to.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm being totally honest, it's now or never, buddy. Otherwise, like, yeah, I don't know. If I were the Canucks organization, I'd say this is your make it or break it moment. If it doesn't happen.
The thing is, though, he's with his new contract, there is a no trade clause. I don't remember when it kicks in. I think it actually kicked in after last season.
I think it
so,
yeah. But I don't know. JT also had a no trade clause, so
that's true.
But, I hate to be that person, but yeah.
I think this year is going to be different for him. A lot of people have belief in him. I think he recognizes that. And he's looked different. He's been given more opportunity. I mean, him and Besser were on the PK during some of the games. So I think it'll be a different year. I don't know how big of a bounce back it's going to be. Some people are saying 80 points. Some people are saying 100. In the Hockey News staff predictions, Adam Kirstenblatt had Pettersson with as being the player with the most points, and I had him as being the one with the most goals. So he's got a lot of believers, to say the least. And I think he'll go back out there this season and show people that the player he was and has been in the past is still there. We did have one more thing to talk about in the Vancouver hockey world today. A couple of days ago, it was announced that PWHL Vancouver's first ever draft pick in the first round in the 2025 PWHL draft, Michelle Karvinen, has signed a standard player agreement for this upcoming season, which means Karvinen is coming to the roster.
Let's go.
It's kind of neat that she has found her way to Vancouver, because her first Olympics was actually in 2010 in Vancouver, which is so neat.
That's a big full circle moment right there.
Exactly. Very fun for her. Um, International hero. I'm gonna go through her list of accolades. We might be here for a while.
You're gonna, yeah.
So we have three-time Olympic bronze, one-time Olympic best forward and Olympic most points, seven times World Championship bronze, one times World Championship silver, three times World Championship All-Star team, four-time champion of the SDHL, which is the Swedish Women's League, three times the most assists and most points in the SDHL, one-time champion of Russia and Switzerland each. So pretty long list of accolades there. And she is coming to Vancouver, which is fantastic. She had 21 goals and 14 assists in 32 games played last season in the SDHL. Yeah, massive international star we're getting here. Going to be fantastic to see her on this roster, this already star-studded roster.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I really like her. And I think she's gonna bring, well, because she's a bit older. She's like 35.
35.
Yeah. I think she's gonna bring like an older style of play to the game. And I really like that.
And I think one thing people are focusing on like the offensive output, but I also think one thing that's not going to go unnoticed is, I mean, you look at her list of accolades, she's been a leader in the past. As one of the older players now, she's going to be a leader for this team that's still young and new. And that'll really help once, but most likely once the team makes it to playoffs in those high stakes moments.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think it's going to be a very good addition to the roster, to the, as you said, the already stacked roster.
Right? It's like, it's already loaded with talent. And then you add Karvinen. I mean, I'm sure we knew that she was going to be part of the roster at some point, but now it's confirmed, right?
Now it's official. Now we've got her locked. Now we're like,
exactly.
Okay.
Officially. I've seen a lot of places project her as being on the third or fourth line. What do we think? Do we think like she's gonna stay in that kind of area, or do you think she could earn herself a little?
I think based on, I think second or third. Definitely not first. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I think that line is pretty secured in it of itself. But I think she's capable of being in the second or third line. Yeah, 100%.
I could even see second, but again, it depends on how they go about structuring the roster because we have no idea what the lines are going to look like. We can have an inkling of an idea, but I guess it's not confirmed until it's official.
Yeah. So we'll see. It'll be fun.
It will be fun.
Yeah. That's it. That's all we've got for this week's episode.
That's it from us this week.
Bit of a shorter episode, but don't think that that's going to stay the same.
That it will not stay the same. We're giving you guys a break from hearing our voices.
I believe going forward, they'll be longer, more in depth. Yeah.
Once like end of November hits, it's going to be brutal because we'll have all three teams.
Yeah.
In play.
Like the like 3-lap game to cover, which will be super fun.
Happy NHL and AHL regular season to everyone. We hope your teams do well. Unless there are certain teams, but we won't go into that. I'm not allowed to be biased. But yeah, happy NHL and AHL regular season, everyone. Have a great week, and we will talk to you next week after the regular season has started.